Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan, "Press on," has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. Calvin Coolidge, 1933.
Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. Until you start believing in yourself, you ain't gonna have a life.
Tuesday, the 3rd of June, 2014. My name's Paul.
My name's Andy.
And this is our Unpenned Show. Year 2, second year, clocked over.
All right, yeah,
this
we are.
This is the 1 week into year number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Live around the world we used to be.
We did.
But we chose not to do it. Because the live thing, we had guests, and we found having guests didn't go with what we were doing.
No, it didn't go with the flow, really.
And we never knew why we didn't go with the guests. We never knew why. I'm speaking for myself here. I could never understand why I was frustrated listening to them. And then I realised they were using my platform. This was my platform on somebody else's station, and they were taking centre stage. And it makes me sound like I wanted to take centre stage. And I did. So we did, didn't we?
Yep.
Now, last week we issued a challenge to all those that listened on the YouTube.
We did.
And we asked you to take a step forward. Do something different. Because we can all learn how the world really works. But who can you share it with? And the truth is, it's very hard to share, isn't it? And most people have to suffer doing this on their own.
Yep.
Which leaves you unable to physically check with somebody that you trust.
Yeah.
You and I don't know how that feels.
No,
because in the very early days we found each other.
Yeah. How are you finding things today? What have you brought?
Exactly.
What have you seen?
Yeah, well, it never stopped, did it?
No.
It hasn't stopped now either.
Week after week.
Week after week. What have you brought? What have you seen? What you got? What you're thinking?
Yeah.
And what have you thought? It allowed us to develop in a way that perhaps those people that are on their own don't have the luxury.
No.
And I wonder if that makes them different. I can't answer that question, but I wonder if it does. Because alone, you have nobody to laugh when you're wrong, agree with you when you're right, and nobody to play the brain exercising game with. I feel that this might be true. I feel that this might be true. What makes the most sense right now? let's not say we know stuff. Let's say we're aware that this may be true, this may be true, or this may be true. And that's how we got through the worst of it, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
That's why last week we said, take the next step forward. Because if you're still trying to work out how the world works, well done you. Most people aren't bothered, especially at this level. Most people way above our pay grades, they already know. Okay? You're not learning something that the majority of the successful way above our pay grades don't already know very well. So please don't kid yourselves. And by kidding yourselves, the word kid yourselves is to remain children. It's not a mistake. Every word we use in our language is designed for us to use. But we use it, but we never question the reason why it is what it is. But we kid ourselves. Remain children, but in other words, that we are more than we think we are. We watch a YouTube from someone we understand and we believe and we've been following, and because we've invested time and nothing more, we tend to join their tribe, their club. And it takes some considerable time to actually release yourself from what is the clutches of gurus, because you are guru fodder if you're actually following them, because they're never going to pay out, because there is no payout.
No.
There is only ever pay in. And they're going to ask you to pay in as much as you can afford, but please don't give us it if you can't afford it.
No, pay as you go.
But if you have a little something, that would help us maintain the service that we've been offering you.
Yes.
That really costs nothing to provide.
In this evil money system that is the root of everything.
Absolutely. The love
all
of money
the
is the root
evils.
of all evil. Now, I don't want
Yes.
but a little bit to help me get on would be great.
Lovely.
You see, we hear many times that this costs an awful lot to put together. This is absolute rubbish. The ability to provide shows on YouTube, whether they be videos or just spoken like we are, the ability to go live, it doesn't cost anything more than the camera, the computer, and the connection. The only cost is the time. If they're using Blog Talk Radio, it was costing us £6 a show. But we could have had 6 shows a week. In other words,
So
it
it's
could
a
have
pound
cost
a day.
as little as £1 a show.
Pound a show.
Okay? That's what we could have had. It was £24, £25 for a month. And we could have 1 2-hour slot per day for a month. So it's less than £1 a show. So when people tell you this costs money, it doesn't. Alright? It doesn't cost money. Now, you and I have sat and gone through what would be 6 years of trial and tribulation.
Without a doubt, yeah.
And we've been right, we've been wrong, and we've been somewhere in the middle most of the time. But if you spoke to us 2 years ago when we first started at our own station, or at least a station that we helped put together, a station that I got no recognition for actually maintaining it financially for the first 6 months, that doesn't matter now. It just shows me what we really are. Because I heard you two talking, Joe. Joe's here tonight as well. And I heard you and Joe talking, and I heard your replies particularly, that you were talking about gossiping, weren't you?
Yeah.
You were talking about how people gossip.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about the awakened crowd, because I don't think there is very many in the awakened crowd. I actually think there's a lot of people who claim they're awake, but I watch and listen and learn from their Facebook comments, and that tells me straight away they are nothing of the sort. Because a little truth that I've learned along my journey, and it's completely accurate in every occasion. If you feel the need to jump on Facebook and you find something offensive on Facebook, then you're the one with the problem. Because the person who put it there doesn't have a problem at all with their view that they want you to see. Now, should you see it and be unhappy with the view that they've shown you, did you really think that by commenting you're going to change it? Because you're not. You see, if I paint a picture that I'm happy with, and you come along and say, I don't like it, I don't care. Arguing. Let me tell you something about arguing. If you're still arguing and you claim to be awake, the two things do not live in the same sentence. Because when you and Joe were chattering, I heard the immortal lines from you. We actually, me and my brother, were both married, and we go and spend time chatting to our mum.
Yeah.
And what happens?
She plays one off against the other.
How does she do that?
She tells Ian and Marie things about us, and then when Ian and Marie aren't there, she tells
when you and the
God
missus
bless
go,
her soul, she's dead and gone now.
but this is nasty.
No,
this
it isn't.
It's not just what your mum's doing.
No, it's.
But we're going to go a little deeper into this as to why.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
How, and how it isn't seen as, it's not seen as difficult or wrong or something that anybody notices.
No.
Until you get a little bit older, don't you?
Yeah.
So when you and the missus go,
and she's telling us about Ian and Marie and what they're up to, and I don't agree with this, that, and the other. And it's her point of view and her gossip and her. But I call it the soap mentality.
But there's a lot to learn, isn't there?
Mm.
When if I sat with somebody named John Doe Smith and chatted, and then you sat with somebody named John Doe Smith and chatted, and then you and I met afterwards, what would we do? We would be able to evaluate who that was.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we?
Yeah.
We would learn so much, because we've got two words in our language. One is hear and one is listen. Now, to be here is no problem, but listening, that takes a bit of something else, doesn't it? We're always here. If you're not here, you're there, which is to hear. Well, we can always be somewhere, which is somewhere here.
Yep.
But we don't bloody listen, do we?
We don't know.
You see, you were listening to Radio 4 today, and you hear things.
I do, yes.
But now you listen to
now,
it.
Yeah.
So are you hearers or listeners?
Pick the bits out.
Well, they call you listeners, but
yeah.
you're not, are you? You're here. And what you do is the past tense of hear is to have heard. And that goes to heard.
It certainly does.
And I heard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I've heard? Do you know what I've heard? Do you know what I've heard? Ba, 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 bloody ba. Gossip. So what was your mum doing?
Yeah, she was playing one off against the other. But for her...
But she was looking for a reaction.
For her reaction, yeah. It was for her enjoyment. It was for her... it was her world. That was
what
it.
she was doing is what everybody does. What do people do when I say this? How do people react when I say that?
Looking for a reaction, yeah.
But who isn't doing that? Who isn't doing that now? Who is not saying, if I say this following sentence of words, I want to see what the reaction is?
Yeah, as you were saying.
So what are we really
Yeah.
doing? What are we really doing?
Looking for approval.
We're asking to be bloody right, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're asking for validation, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're asking for compliments, aren't we? We're fishing.
You were right.
But you're bloody fishing, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're bloody fishing. Well, let's go with compliment. How many people do you compliment in your life?
Not enough, maybe. Yeah. 2 or 3.
How many people you got friends in your life? How many people do you name as friends in your life?
Down to a couple. 3 at tops at the moment.
So, how many of the 3 people that you may have named as the maximum don't you compliment? They are the 3.
Yeah, well, yeah, they are the 3. They're the
3.
They are.
So, is a friendship to be complimentary? Something for free. Something for thank you.
Yeah.
Isn't something for complimentary either given in the initial stages as an invite or the final stages as a gracious thank you? Isn't that what compliment is?
Certainly is, yeah. Should be.
And is that what friends do? You see,
True
in the
friends.
fake world we say, it's been lovely to see you.
Yes.
It's been lovely to see you. Do you know what? We must make a date,
Let's do
get
this
together and go out for a meal. And what we'll do is keep in touch and we'll get that meal booked and we'll have a lovely night. What does that really mean? I'm not going to arrange it. Are you? And you don't, do you? You
No.
don't, do you?
No.
So it's hypothetically what you're not going to do. So you're a hypocrite. You're not going to do it.
You're not, no.
But with the 3 friends that you're talking about, you are going to do it. So, if you can count the friends that are real friends, that have value, and that share stuff that you need, you might have 3 friends. But how many acquaintances you got? Many more.
Yeah, I'm going to say more acquaintances, yeah, and that's all they are.
So if you're not complimenting the others, what are you doing? You're competing with them, aren't you? You're actually competing with them. But how many people hear in the language the competition that's going on? And how many people are prepared to admit that, except your very special top tier of friends, the rest, you're taking part in the race, aren't you? You're taking part in the competition that we call the race. But are you racing your 3 friends?
No.
You're not, are you?
No.
You're trying to help them in their building project, aren't you? You're trying to help them build because they're trying to help you build. But the rest is the race. Isn't it?
It is, yeah.
If we look at a race and we go to perhaps the easiest description, which is Formula 1, it's twists and turns and teams. What do they have to cross to win the race?
The finish line.
So they have to cross a line to no longer have to take part in the race. So to win the race is to cross the line.
Yep. Usually,
which side of the line are you?
I'm going to say it's usually start of an argument, that, when you've crossed the line.
But we aren't racing.
No.
So we've decided not to cross the line and argue. We've decided not to race amongst ourselves. We've decided to form a team. And if anything, race together.
Yeah. Yeah, we've found a formula.
So it's a relay.
Yeah.
So we found a relay. I relay to you, you relay to Joe, and we relay. But most people are individual. One split into 2. So they're racing their own race. Well, if you don't win, you see number 1 is spelt W-O-N. 1. So only first matters. So to cross the line is to finish the race. And if after a number of challenges you become the champion, then you can retire and take part in the organising of the race. The race organisers, the stewards, the timekeepers, the marshals, the sponsors, the mechanics, the designers, the engineers,
the marketing. Yeah.
You're all supporting the race, but you're not taking part in the race. See how that works?
Yeah.
The control system has already won the race. They've crossed the line, and now they organise the race. And the way they do it is by complementing each other.
Complements, yeah.
Working together and racing as a team. And we were trying to reach out to the individuals who still can't recognise the race and how their trainers to run in it. And we were reaching out to those people and saying, the next step to your evolution is to stop arguing and start actually finding out how much you really know. Because you can watch TV all day, and TV will tell you a vision, because it's called television. You can find any channel you like, and the word channel is just artificial waterway. You can sail your own boat down any channel you want. And YouTube is for people who can't be bothered to read. If you're home alone, angry with the world, and shouting and bawling at people who don't know what you do, I hope you soon get over that. Because it's a horrible time, isn't it? That is one of the worst times in my life. The mistakes I made. The fool I made of myself. how embarrassed I am even now looking back on it.
Just thinking about it, yeah.
You can't change this on your own.
No.
The only thing you've got a right to change is yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're making snipes and pokes and unpleasant remarks on Facebook, what are you? What is it you're trying to achieve again? Because you've got no right to incurse on somebody else's journey. You can just wave along the way, but you have got no right to impose direction upon them, because woe betide they try and do it to you. Which is why you've misread the whole thing. You read it and you think, that person is trying to misdirect me. You read it. They didn't send you it. You asked to be kept in contact with their post. You wanted to read their post. And now when you've read their post for free, you've got the audacity to complain about it.
Yeah.
How foolish do you think that makes you look? It's ridiculous, isn't it?
It is, really.
Did you pay for anything for the service? No, you didn't.
No.
Did you request the service? Yes, you did.
Did
you tick the box and say, please may I read your post? Yes, you did.
Yeah.
And then they've given you something you don't agree with. Who gives a toss what you think? The person who posted it doesn't. So why would you think they do? People are interested in what you've got to say. They're not interested in what you've heard. But what have you got to say? That isn't what you've heard. See, there's the difference, isn't there?
It is, yeah.
What have you got to say that isn't what you've heard? Because the heard is what's spread by the many. What have you listened to? And what have you learned with Mother?
Yeah.
Listen and learn with Mother. Do you remember that on the BBC?
Yeah.
Going back to how we started with your mum, she's just mirroring what everybody else is doing.
Yes.
Say it, see it, say what comes back. You know,
Yeah.
you see it, you say it, and you see what comes back. It's the boomerang type affair, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at EastEnders. Look at
Exactly.
look at Coronation Street.
That's the junk that they feed on.
And that is what the bottom feeders are okay with. That's what they do. But it sounds like we're being rude to everybody, and we're not. Because we used to be there.
Yeah.
We used to be there. We got fooled time and time and time again. There was, in the early days, do you remember? This money system's a scam.
Yeah.
They do it all by making us do business with them. Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, of course they do. But where we are now, in the hypothetical year 2014, because they say it is, that doesn't matter. How much of this stuff was hidden from us? Probably quite a lot in the early years, wasn't it? 200 or 300 years ago. This was being put together, 260, 270 years ago?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we didn't have access to it. But now we have.
Yes.
But the reason we have access to it now, would you say it might be because we're not actually capable of decoding it properly?
Yeah.
We now just are all mad and angry when perhaps...
Is it the ultimate multiple choice question paper?
Well, the thing is that life is all about doing business, isn't it? And they actually set up an entire system to do business, commerce, a system of commerce. So we could actually trade with each other. Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we got to trade with each other. But they didn't tell us exactly how the trading was done, because they legalised all the terms to make it easy.
Yeah.
And we didn't need to know the legalising of the terms. We just knew that we had to do business with each other, and they wanted to tax us for the business that they were trying to encourage us to do.
Yeah.
You know, England was often called a nation of shopkeepers because we were encouraged to serve each other's needs. In the old-fashioned method of slavery, it was all done at the tip of the sword, the point of a gun, and threats and violence. Well, free range is a lot better. And they developed a system where we could choose our own method of
being targeted.
Exactly.
Free range.
Yeah, exactly. But we could choose our own outcomes, if you see what I mean. Do you want to be this profession? Do you want to be that profession? And it lives on the names, doesn't it? The blacksmiths and the shoesmiths and all that sort of things. We could choose our own professions and pay a cut to the lords and masters. And as this has developed, technology has taken away the need to have such a high level of skill for each and every person. And the factory came in, didn't it?
Yeah.
The factory farming, as opposed to the free range that we'd enjoyed over the years.
Yeah.
So the free range to choose was replaced by the factory farming. And we became battery-type hens. And that's where it's so much in, so much out, recharge overnight.
Yeah.
Rechargeable batteries. And they want more money out of each battery. The efficiency is to be, improved upon.
Yeah.
And technology allows us to produce so much more than we ever were able to. But the problem is that the profit that so much more actually created is not going into our pockets, is it?
No, it isn't.
This is where we fall down a little bit.
Yeah.
We don't get to keep the bleeding money. It's going to the masters who created it. You see what I mean? That's where we get a little bit lost to
when
how
you're
this works.
ready to rise up, you'll rise up. All the power you need is in your hands. Now look around you. Our financial systems have been hijacked by a generation of thieves. While you're working harder and harder for less and less, the game is being rigged against you. They're turning all of us into virtual slaves. Looters, at the heart of our financial system, are price-fixing our most precious resources. Food, water, energy, gold, even the value of money itself is being siphoned away by high-level crooks in a giant mushrooming conspiracy of unstoppable corruption. They're robbing billions of people of trillions of dollars a year, folks. There is no need for austerity measures. There is no need for financial suffering. No need for poverty. There is no scarcity. We are simply the victims of a robbery of unimaginable proportions. We have been fed a lie so vast it oppresses all of humanity. The truth is, there is more than enough to go around. 60 years ago, productivity was increasing so fast, they predicted by today, entire families could live comfortably on the income of just one provider, working only 10 hours a week. They wondered what we'd do with all of our spare time. What happened to that dream? Turns out they were right. What took a full work week back then can be done in just 10 hours today. We have technologies that multiply our efforts 1,000-fold and connect us in ways they never imagined. We are now 100 times richer than in that great heyday of the 50s. We are heirs to a great bounty of prosperity. $70 trillion in the U.S. alone. Over $200,000 for every man, woman, and child. The only reason we don't experience this wealth is because it's being siphoned away by a corrupt criminal class. They loot through giant corporations, raising prices, lowering wages, stealing the fruits of our productivity. Where once whole families prospered with just one provider, now both parents work, delivering 8 times the productivity but struggling to make ends meet. They control the media using hot-button social issues to divide us, brother against brother, so we fight each other while they loot our sacred institutions. They make us fear too big to fail banks collapsing, but if they did, we'd suddenly recover the 8 times our income that's being siphoned away every single day. Don't give yourselves to these crooks who abuse you and enslave you, who steal your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel. Let us burn these leeches off our backs. Let us replace their corrupt systems with better systems that benefit everyone. Let us reclaim the fruits of our productivity. Let us share our prosperity. We can do this now. We are are the creators. And when we come together, we have the power to create whatever future we want.
Welcome back to the second part of the Unpenned Show this Tuesday night, the 3rd of June. My name's Andy.
And my name's Paul.
I nearly said it the other way around.
I thought, you start this. Yes, you get it wrong way around. This is what we do. We just do it, don't we?
Yeah, we come and do it.
This is our record of what we wanted to say, recorded for those that might want to listen.
Putting it down on a track.
You know, exactly. What do you find under a track?
Sleepers.
It's almost like the Royals walking on the red carpet, isn't it? When you see the track and the train driving over the sleepers.
And it's the sleepers that hold it all together.
Yes, it is. The track wouldn't be supported without the sleepers.
Without the sleepers.
We're surrounded by sleepers. Some who claim to be awake. Most are actually living the nightmare, aren't they? They are the zombies that will tear the limbs off the people who they think are a threat to them.
And there are 2 tracks out there, and there's a saying you're on the wrong track.
Which side of the track you're on?
Yeah, which side of the track you're on? And I think we found that we were maybe on the wrong side of the track.
We were now. That Rise Up official
2 years ago.
that Rise Up official video says that we are the creators. What happens next is up to us. These are fine words, and I played it on purpose because I like it. But we've gone back to hear and listen. You hear that and you feel empowered, but you shouldn't, because you haven't done anything. It's almost like cough medicine. It makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Just because you've stopped coughing.
Yeah.
Right? But nothing's changed really. It's that you were coughing, and now you've taken some medicine, and somehow the world feels better.
Yeah.
Because creators do stuff.
Yeah.
And just for you to listen to that doesn't mean you've done anything except heard it. Because that's all you're going to say. I heard the Wayseer, the second song he did. And you know, it made me feel better. Well, good. That's your cough medicine taken. Now what are you going to do?
That's made you feel a little bit better.
Exactly. Because creators, we are the creators, but we have to understand how it's counterfeited.
Yes.
Okay? Now, in the early days, did you find your knowledge of the Bible, you used it? You were using it a lot more than you thought you were going to. Because I found myself almost speaking in biblical verse.
Yeah.
You know, I did. Trying to help the blind to see. It only helps those that help themselves.
Yeah.
You know, you can only save yourself. You can do what I can do. Those ways of speaking. Yeah. I found myself saying that, thinking, I sound like a nutcase here.
The fishers of men.
The fishers of men. We've talked that a long time.
Yeah.
That's in the film out, Son of God. It is. We'll watch that. You and I. We'll watch that. It's not the most epic remake of the Son of God, but there's a lot in there. There's an awful lot in there that, if you want to see it, it mirrors and reflects exactly what we do now.
Well, it is the oldest tale, isn't it? Well, we were saying 2004. Are we in 2014? But it is a tale that they've been telling for 2,000 years. And in different versions.
Allegedly. An update in 1604 because you know, a slight new religion needs to be installed. I mean, you know, if we go back to the September the 11th, 2001, I actually believe that was the date when the new religion was to be installed.
Yep.
This new religion takes many guises, but it will eventually be a new religion for Mother Nature, and it will be to live in harmony with Mother Nature. Now, I find that, you know, is it possible that the very people that you and I used to mix with, and we don't bother so much now, because the sleepers are no good to us.
No.
The arguers are no good to us.
No.
So we decided just to do our own little thing, put it on YouTube, and you guys can decide if you're interested or not. And guess what? It doesn't matter to us at all. We don't worry about subscribers. No. We've got nothing to sell. We record this, and the reason we record this, and I'll be open and honest with everybody, is because my little girl can listen to it, and she probably won't understand any of it now.
No.
But she might do in years to come.
Yeah.
If we say one sentence that actually helps somebody else fit their jigsaw together, they'd crack on.
Use it as a platform.
Exactly. Last week we actually appealed, didn't we, for people to contact us, come and share your experiences and take a step forward. Become part of what it is that you're going to create. Are you going to create chaos and mayhem? Because if you are, then you're actually doing what the system wants you to do. Chaos and mayhem is its way forward. It's its number one party trick, where you are arguing about things that don't matter, that you can't prove, you weren't there, and won't make a difference to your life or anybody else's. You can argue about whales, dolphins, Palestine, Syria. You can argue about
Scotland,
Rio Tinto in Australia. You can argue about the devolution of Wales, of Scotland, the partitioning. Shall we have passports? Do they have It doesn't bloody matter.
No.
Because the news is designed to keep you spinning round on your bicycle. Because you go round and round and round, and you've got opinions on everything. But you've got no knowledge, have you? You've got what the lying newspapers you claim they are have given you.
Yeah.
You are doing exactly what the system wants. You're spreading darkness, spreading negativity, and you're pretending to shine the light through the negative and make it a positive. And you're not, are you? Because you're sat on your own in the dark. It's not working like that for you, is it? You can't share the negative because you don't have the light or the power or the illumination to make it into a positive, because all you're sharing is bad news. Well, that takes an awful lot of selling, which is why you get it for free. You get bad news for free and then share it out. And you can't understand why nobody likes you. That's some sort of special stupid, isn't it? That is a special sort of stupid that can't work that out. And we're surrounded by them.
Yeah.
Would you say that the alternative boys and girls who believe they're trying to make change, would you say, on the most part, we're not including everybody in this, but for the most part, they're actually doing exactly what the control system wants, and making it bloody worse?
I've just felt that just over the voting period that we've had just recently. And am I fitting into the what word do they give it when people can't be bothered to go vote? Voter apathy. Have they conditioned me again into the voter apathy? Because
are we the most domesticated?
Yes,
this takes some agreeing to, doesn't it? We know we live in a system of domestication. Dissecto and mate, cut in half and breed it.
Yeah.
All right. So you reduce the aggression out of the animal that you're trying to.
The steer.
The steering committee.
Yes, I'm the young steer.
Exactly.
Young cattle is called a steer.
But we're trying to buck the system.
Yeah. Buck the trend.
Exactly. Young bucks are. You know what are young bucks? Exactly. We're just kids. Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that we're being fooled. We're being domesticated.
Yeah.
And the people in the alternative gang, half of which, or for the most part, we mustn't fight. We mustn't fight. We must do it peacefully. We're all one. Love and light. It's the planet's destiny. It's written in the stars. Right, I've heard this bullshit before. I've heard this bullshit many times before.
And where has it got us?
Exactly, where's it got us? Sat on your ass, making no difference to nothing, believing in myths and legends and star signs and horoscopes. Your horoscope, and you believe in people you've never met telling you good news, because when you go to a fortune teller, that's what you've paid for. And they are happy to tell you the good news that we're going to win in the end. Sit tight, listen to me, tune in next week, send me a bit of summer, and I'll tell you what, you're doing more than most.
Join the steering
This
committee.
is rubbish.
It is, yeah.
This is rubbish. Only one thing is going to make a change, and it's what you do next. That's what makes the change to the world.
It is.
What you do next. Because you have no influence on the world. You have no reflection on the world. The world does not live in you. You have to go and take part in it. Right? It won't leave you alone because it wants paying. Because you're living for bloody free. All right, you got here, and it was all working great before you got here, and it's been working all the way. And if you don't choose to take part, that's fine, but you ain't having nothing for free. You ain't living for free. There ain't nothing like a free lunch. Now, I'll tell you what. You guys and girls, you get together and you organise yourselves into organising a free lunch. Grow your carrots, grow your whatever it is you're growing. Go and build yourself a tin hut, and I'll tell you what. What more can I ask? Because I don't have to pay you anymore. I want you to work out how to get yourself out of this system. I want you to renounce the birth certificate, renounce the person. I want you to stop using the name. I want you to refuse the health service. I want you to shout at the police. I want you to be suspicious of doctors. And I want you to don't trust anybody, right, who doesn't think and say and believe the same things as you do. If I can get you to think like that, right, you will actually become free range and cost me nothing to maintain. So, what I'll do is I'll give a whole arena of information that tells you how to opt out of the system so you don't cost me anything. Now, I wish you guys would shut up moaning about it, get yourself together, sign off the benefits, sign off the services, chuck your name back in, chuck your birth certificate back in, and go and do something to bloody impress me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, shut up. Because I am delighted to hear that you've fallen for the I haven't got anything, I don't have any skills, I've got no money, and it's a bloody scam anyway. You're right, it is.
It is.
So you get yourself out of it and stop costing me bloody money. Brilliant, isn't it?
It is.
We are the most domesticated idiots that has ever been made.
Yeah.
Fools. A ship of bloody fools been thrown overboard year after year after year after year.
Well, that been thrown overboard. We've enjoyed watching the Channel 4 programme, Bear Grylls The Island.
We have.
And they've sent 13 people to an island.
Who'd have thought? 13?
Yes,
Who'd have
13.
Thought? Who'd have thought?
And in the last week, they chose a leader, and suddenly there was a leader and 12 apostles.
Well, the reason we haven't got... the reason we didn't get any calls is because... First of all, the people who chose... Well, I'm not phoning him. Well, let somebody else do it. Let somebody else do it. I don't think I'm ready yet. I'm quite happy to listen to somebody who I trust and believe in. So, when they step forward, I'm happy to support them.
Yeah.
They're called the rest, aren't they? The people who will not stand up and be counted are called the rest. They're also the people who attend rallies. Yeah?
Yeah.
They attend political rallies, and they look to the staged event for their guidance. Right? And this is not because everything is MI5, MI bloody 6, PSYOPs this and PSYOPs that. It takes just a little time to realise that it's actually human nature, isn't it, really? It's actually the way we've been made. We have been made and indoctrinated to do business. And we were given the title of company and the animation of our persona so we could act outside the dressing rooms that we live in.
Yeah.
Because we live in a dress with rooms. And inside our dress with rooms, okay, we take on our different personalities. But they're all us. Because it's a private show behind closed doors for selected invited members and paid guests at certain show times. But in the big stage, the world that we live in, when you step outside the staged door into the bigger reality, it allows you to be whoever you want to be.
With your grease paint on and your costume.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a costume drama
drama
mixed with a documentary, some fact, some fiction, a nature programme, and it's all designed for you to learn. Am I agreeing with the system? Of course I'm not agreeing the system's perfect. But you have to understand how we got here. You can't bitch about little bits of the system without understanding how on earth we got here. We got here because there had to be a system that was legally easy for us to actually do business in, isn't it? We actually got to... They wanted us to trade with each other.
Yes.
Because it felt like freedom at the time. It felt like instead of being tithed.
Yes.
Think of the times. Think of the land. Think of the farms. Think of how it was all structured, and how the lords and the masters were taking over the land itself, and then making us think that they were doing us a favour, letting us farm on it, and building us buildings, and building us houses, and building us stables. They built all these things, but we built them really.
It had to move forward.
Exactly.
Forward. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there are some people who think this system actually can go backwards. I've listened to a documentary on Sunday morning. I won't say who it's by because it doesn't matter. These are all good people. But it doesn't go backwards.
Doesn't.
You know, they're talking about a time in the 19th century when we were independent, in the early 20th century, and how we could live and how we could change and how we've got to simplify things. That's because their mind can only simplify. It cannot compete with what's coming. There are 7 billion people in the world. Listening to that actual video documentary type that was put together, 438 views. We've got to stop this.
We have.
We can go back. We can do this. We can do that. We can't do any of those things. It's a game for dreamers to live in, to think that you can. You can't.
No.
Your life is your own, your time is limited, and what you do with it is up to you.
Yeah.
Are you going to create something of value and leave it behind? Or are you going to take part in the imaginary race of materialism?
Yeah.
Where what you think you are is a house, a car, a pension, a well-stocked and bordered garden, a golf club membership, and a holiday in the Maldives. That's not who you are. But that is how you find yourself describing yourself.
And measuring yourself.
But who are you measuring yourself?
Yeah. Who have you got the measure of?
Exactly, you're measuring yourself against a game of materialism. This is the counterfeit race we've been invited to take part in.
It has, and that's what moved it forward.
But the race that really exists is the one that you're now discovering. It's your own freedom. Your freedom of thought, your freedom to think, and your freedom to be you. While you're actually on Facebook, YouTube, you're not being you. You're learning how to be you.
Yeah.
It's only when you can speak confidently and clearly and stand your ground and accept another point of view, disagree, and accept that you may be wrong on a number of things.
And going back to what you were saying earlier about the new religion and stopping the watch, and did it start in 2001? Did this new...
yes.
And it usually takes a couple of generations to bring a new religion in.
Installing new religion.
Installing the update.
Exactly, installing new religion. Because, like all children, we end up relying on mother. We always, I mean, the most important job in the reality that we live in, the highest title in the land for me is mother. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. She is expected to be on call, free of charge, and to be able to answer, help with, and solve all and any problem that exists. Exactly. The very highest is Mother herself. And that's why installing new religion is now underway.
And why it's got to go back to Mother Nature.
Because the Matrix is so we can be born again in their image. But this isn't an unusual time of now.
No.
It's the time of now that you've discovered that always exists. The Bible has always told the same story over and over again to a new congregation.
Civilizations.
And every congregation has thought, the time is now. Our time is now. We must stand up. We must fight. We must defend. It's not new.
No.
It's you that's found it. You, the only bit in it that is new is you. So how have we been doing in the fight over your lifetime and the one before it for your mum and dad? We haven't been faring very well, have we, really?
No, we're just We're just a cog in this history, aren't we? Look at the civilizations. The Incas, in Peru, the Egyptians went, the Romans went, and I know we're in a new Romanesque, the Club of Rome era.
It never went away, really.
Not
did it?
really, no.
The problem is that they've kept us so far behind that on their calendar, I suspect the year might be about 2200.
Yeah.
Or at least their thinking is way past 2100. Our thinking, listen to it, it's in 1850, 1860. We're going back to growing our own bloody food.
Yeah, yeah.
OK, am I knocking people to grow? No, grow whatever you want. The system wants you off its books. If you won't produce and work for it, it wants you off its books. And believe me, it's shown you how it works the books. It's shown you how it cooks the books. And if you want to take part and you don't want to pay in, it is happy for you to go and leave it. Remember in the early days, the person, the persona, the birth certificate, the tax, the attacks, all the tricks that we claimed have been played on us. Do we not now see that it was just our ignorance? Do we not understand that the world is a business? And we're very much invited to take part in it. And the system indoctrinates you so you can take part in it. And you can either follow the system's advice into the highest form of indoctrination, which is as many degrees as you want, because the system relies on degrees. For those that work for the system, it's degrees of success and validation. For those that refuse, it's degrees of ignorance, subversity, and bloody poverty. And that's what we've forgotten. We have always been given the choice, haven't we? We have always been given the choice. This is the indoctrination. This is how we do it. Come and work for us, and here's the terms and conditions. Or go and work for yourself and negotiate your own. It sounds sometimes as if we're sticking up for the system.
Or, then the other side of that is the system and the cabal that you get into. And the machine that you're feeding, that you want feeding from, includes the degrees. Then you go from a degree and you've got to do your masters. Then from your masters, you're encouraged to go do your doctorate. And that's what's happening with my wife at the moment. She's having to jump through hoops in the system that she's in, which is the NHS, to keep her job. And she did all the degrees when... I remember sitting there in a nurse's outfit after she got home from work and straight on the word processor. And she's done the degree, she's done the 3 degrees. She's achieved a Diana Ross, and now she's in her masters. And
you wondered when you'd see her again, didn't you?
I did, I wondered when. and now they're asking her to go and do a doctorate. So it never stops.
Chain reaction.
But exactly.
I know.
It is. It all fits.
It's a chain reaction.
I mean, it is.
It's one. You never leave school, do you?
No.
If you work for the system, you never leave, or you're invited to stay at school forever. The system tells you it knows more than you.
More than you.
But it's happy to share as long as you'll repeat what it teaches.
You go do the research.
It's repeat on demand, though, isn't it? This is repeat after me. That's all the system makes. It cannot make rebels. Rebels don't fit, which is why we sit together in a band of disbanded rebels.
And when I mentioned multiple, is this a multiple choice exam? And the multiple choice exam was always for the dodos, wasn't it? Oh, it was. It gave you a question, and then you had about 4 or 5 answers that you could pick from.
But didn't the multiple choice exam come in when we had access to the multiple choices of how we've been examined?
Yes.
You see, the personalised number plates didn't appear on cars for a long time. But now, if you can afford one, you can have one.
Yes.
You can brand yourself. The ability to brand yourself has now been available to everybody. Because we believe that if we design ourselves, then the image is what matters. What you think I am is more important than what I really am. And isn't that being played out in the world over now, in the Western world? You said you were away at the weekend, and the restaurant you were in was full, and the food was rubbish, but the restaurant was full.
Yeah.
You see, now I can I won't say the food's rubbish because that's not fair. We've got a new restaurant here in Ripon. We went in. The atmosphere was fabulous. It felt great. The food was mediocre, and it was 20 quid a head more than it should have been. It's all about image and how it feels.
Yes.
The restaurant factor comes in. The more pleasant the surroundings, the higher price the menu, but the least food you get on your plate.
Yes, yeah.
It's almost like the surroundings and how much you pay for it are 1 and 2, and the actual product comes in third. And that doesn't make sense anymore.
No.
Because that's how it works, isn't it now?
I've never wanted to be third. I've always wanted to put myself first. That's why I've never got on with bosses and places I've worked for.
Images. It's all about images. The kids nowadays, tell me the story about the waitress.
Yes, we did.
This just epitomises it. That's why I laughed. You've forgotten about it, hadn't you?
No, it was the Beefeater restaurant we were in, and where the food was diabolical. It was, sorry, Beefeater, but your food is atrocious. We were captivated as well. There was nowhere else to go, really, for food. We ate there the first night, and it was awful.
Captivated.
And we had to go back there the second night, but it was the waitress, remember, they're trying to get the staff onto monthly wages. And the waitress was enjoying offering. We didn't ask her.
I'm looking forward to it because your London accent is rubbish, but it's funny anyway. It is rubbish, but it is funny. You've got to go for it.
Have I got to go do this?
Go for it, yeah.
Cagey London accent.
Yeah.
How did the conversation start? Let me think. She says, "Oh, they're trying to get us on a monthly wages."
That's it.
I says, "But did you sign up? You signed the contract?" She says, "Yeah, I did." She says, "And it was weekly. We're on weekly money. We're on bloody weekly money here." She says, "Oh, sorry to swear." And I says, "Yeah, well, they'll have to make you sign a new contract. Did you know that? And you don't have to sign it if you don't want to. You are entitled to your weekly money." She says, "Yeah, but I've had a thought about it." She says, "If I go on to monthly money, at the moment, the money that I get, if I buy a pair of Ray-Bans for £170, I've only got 90 quid left to last me to the end of the week. But if I go on monthly money, I'll get £1,000 a month. How many pairs of Ray-Bans can I buy with that?"
And what do you want to be when you grow up? And a cat. I'm going to be a cat.
But bless her, she was lovely. But that was her world. It was based on how many pairs of Ray-Bans she could buy.
Well, she was pricing her weekly wages against a pair of Ray-Bans.
A pair of Ray-Bans, yeah.
Which means that we do it all do it on our own way, don't we? We've priced weekly wages in Mars bars, pints of milk, fish and chips. She was pricing them in Ray-Bans. But we don't live in right well.
But it works. It works on every decode.
Mars bars and pints of milk. And they're in bloody Ray-Bans.
Ray-Bans. And my wife's at the university at the moment, and we only speak as we find and we see it. And we've said before, this is our truth. This is what we see. This is what we speak.
Oh, God, if somebody wants to comment and disagree with us, crack on.
Please do.
Crack on.
But nobody ever does.
No.
We might be getting somebody. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Come on. I mean, but are we not confirmed? The world's a bunch of cowards.
Well, it is, but
it's a bunch of typing quiet cowards.
It's back to the multiple choice.
What
now.
type are they? The quiet type, aren't they? They're the quiet type. What do? They just type. There's type A, type B, type C, type D, type E, type F, type G, type H.
Well, we are in a Saturn system, aren't we? And we will be Saturn earning on this.
Now here's a question for you, right? Those who follow the myths and legends, right? Those who believe the Greeks, the Egyptians, and maybe the Phoenicians, the Sumerians, and God knows whoever was before, right? Right? We have enough evidence shown to us that there's 7 objects on the night sky they could see with the naked eye. One of them was Saturn. Now, my eyes can't confirm this, but others can for me. We're led to believe that they didn't only see Saturn, they could see the rings. Well, how? How? Impossible. Rings were only discovered on Saturn in this 2014 reality relatively recently, with the powerful telescopes that have been developed over time. But we're led to believe that Saturn's rings is the reason that we wear wedding rings, earrings, necklaces and bangles. Now, I'm not suspecting that people tell fibs, but I'm not suspecting that this is the whole truth for you. Because if I wanted to create a new religion, and if I wanted to understand 100, 200, 300 years ahead what I wanted to create, if the past didn't suit my narrative, I'd have to go back and start changing it. You see, we've only got access to what we call history in the way that we have now. We've only had access to that, the internet, 15 years? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years? Before that, you really had to want to know history, and you really had to go to the library and pick out the books that were recommended on the shelf to find out what you think history should be. How easy was it to change history before the internet? It couldn't have been easier, could it? It couldn't have been easier. I don't suspect the past is neither true nor false. I suspect the past is doing exactly what it's designed to do, and that's support the agenda for the future. If you believe the Egyptians and the Greeks had telescopes and could see the rings of Saturn, believe it all you like. How'd them pyramids get built? Oh, I know there were giants. Believe it, because I'm not going to argue with you. I am not going to argue with you. This is 2014 in a world that's been made for me to believe in. And the more I look, the less I believe in it. Arguing slows me down. Listening to people who are younger than me slows me down. And listening to people who won't shut up turns me right off. It sounds sometimes like we're actually supporting this system when the actual system is supporting us.
Yeah, and without the corruption, we have got a pretty good system. When it can deliver,
it's getting a little bit
everything that you want, and
I was going to say
caters for all your needs.
I was going to say, first of all, we must appreciate that the government didn't build this for us.
No,
we
built
are
it.
The creators.
Yes.
They steal our productivity, our creativity, our ideas. Why do you think they actually fund the education system in its entirety with our money? So they can identify the very people who are going to be the game changers in the future. The school system is nothing more than a filtration system so they get what they want to the top.
This is my gripe I'm going back to this multiple choice thing and the inventors. We used to have inventors. Now, we're told that the universities are the new places of invention. But all I can see is that they're places for research. Now, my wife's doing a master's at the moment, and God bless her, at 48, I said to her, I don't know how you do this. I could not do what you are doing. And they've got her jumping through hoops and meeting deadlines, blah, blah, blah. And she's doing very well. She's got the hang of it. There's been blood and tears and all sorts and everything with it. But she's doing very well on it. Now, the piles of books that she got and I naively said to her, I nearly like the way it was, are you going to read all them backs? You've got to read all them backs. And she said, no, I don't have to read all the books, no. So I said, well, if you don't have to read all those books...
It's just chapter and verse, isn't it?
How do you... I didn't understand.
It's chapter and verse, isn't it? It's chapter and verse, you go to the edit.
Go to the index.
Yeah, you go to the index.
The index is the multiple choice section for the upper classes. Yeah. They don't read all the books.
No.
They just go, and in every back of every book you look, it's got an index. And you can find the heading you want in that index. And then all you do is read that bit. And then you've researched that bit.
And then you write it down and make it your own.
And you make it,
You make it your own.
Plagiarise it.
That was lovely. Plagiarise is copying off one. So you get a few books, and that's research.
And that, you've probably gone into something, I learnt a new word today. It's pseudo-success.
We've done this.
Pseudo-success.
I know what it means. You
And
tell
this fits perfectly with what's happening at the universities. There are people churning out all this research and everything like that, and they don't really understand what they've churned out.
Yeah, because they get given the answer they're meant to find at the point of researching.
But
That's right, the book gives them the answer as well.
yes, it does.
It's multiple choice. You're like, that answer, or that, Dan. Don't choose one of your own. Choose one of the predetermined choices.
Yes.
You can't elect your answer, you select one that we've predetermined for you. That makes you... No, it makes you a copier.
It does.
It makes you a bloody copier.
And that fits with the pseudo-success.
Exactly.
People putting all this stuff together.
Yeah, you've got it right, you don't flick it
and
out.
not realising how they've done it.
Pseudo-success.
And I was listening to
It's a bit like fixing taps this afternoon, isn't it?
Psychotherapist.
We fixed the tap this afternoon, right?
We were psychotherapists.
I had a leaking hot tap on my sink. So we bought the part. Yep.
We identified
it looked
the part.
exactly the same as the part that came out.
We went on Tinternet
Did it work?
and found them.
No, it didn't bloody work.
It peed water out everywhere.
So we thought, we must be doing something wrong. So we dismantled the existing part, changed the bits that we thought were broken, put it in, and do you know what? It still didn't work, did it? So we actually got two tap parts for this. We got a spare, we got a hot and a cold.
Yeah.
So we then tried the cold in the hot side. Did that work?
No.
No. So we thought, this is crazy. So we put the original hot bit back together and put that back in.
Yes.
Did it work? No, it bloody well didn't.
It wouldn't switch
So
off.
then we thought, by which time the stop tap was we'd ruin the washer on the stop tap. So it's been on, off. The stop tap has not done so much work in 80 years. It then collapsed under the workload. So we had to change the washer on the stop tap. So then we came back and said, this makes no sense at all. Let's just try one more time with the hot tap. If it don't work, we'll have to buy a new tap.
Yep.
We put it in. Did it work?
Yeah.
Yeah, it bloody did. Do we know how to fix it? No idea at all. You're a plumber. I was watching you.
Yeah,
I have no idea why that worked.
I was gobsmacked. I thought, why?
You could have knocked me down with a bloody feather. I'll tell you. Talk about words that should exist that don't exist. Molish. Molish. There must be a word called molish. If you can demolish, you must be able to molish. You must be able to molish, I'm telling you. It's fun.
It is.
It's fun. What we do is we chat amongst ourselves, record it, see how it sounds. If you guys like it, thanks for listening. If you don't like it, thanks for listening. It doesn't really matter. If you don't subscribe, it doesn't matter. If we had tens of thousands of subscribers, we would do like everybody else did. Okay? We'd try and monetize it. And then we'd work out which bits you liked, and we'd start giving you more of that. And then we'd say, well done you, how smart you are for listening. Just pay me and I'll make you even smarter. Just pay me and I'll make you even smarter. Eventually these people, these websites, they're going to start issuing their own degrees to tell you how smart you are.
Yes.
They will.
Yeah.
It's your own race, it's your own journey. And we don't believe what other people tell us.
Will you have become a doctorate then? Because you're doctoring it all.
No, you'll become a prof. Yeah, exactly. They're just practicing.
They are.
They're just practicing after all that. It's a crazy game of we can't get out of the big box.
Nope.
It's square in the circle, isn't it? They want to put the circle in a box. They claim they are the gods. They are the nearest thing to heaven that is possibly achievable. They're the nearest thing to heaven, the nearest thing to gods, and the gods make us in their image. And they make us in their image time and time and time again. An alcoholic makes alcoholics. A thief makes thieves. A paedophile mixes with paedophiles. And they make us in their image. They then break our legs and then whip us because we can't stand up. They make us all guilty of their crimes. And when we commit their crimes, they ton of bricks. You fiddled £2.50 off your tax return. Oh, you're in trouble. You've been to a car boot sale, not declared it on your self-employment. You are a bloody criminal because they have crossed the winning line.
Yes.
They're the other side of the tracks.
The other side of the track. They're making the rules.
They've
now.
walked over the sleepers. They are the race event organisers.
Yeah.
They stage the whole thing. The rules do not apply to them now.
Nope.
As far as they're concerned, they've won the race. You're the competitors. You're taking part in the race.
Yeah.
And the rules apply to you and not to them. And they break your bloody legs and then give you a broken walking stick to stand up and fight back with. No, we don't support the system.
No, we don't.
But we understand how it works.
We do.
And we also understand, rightly or wrongly, that what most of the alternative truth movement are doing is never going to fix the problem. but we try.
Yeah. And
try.
Hopefully there are some younger people listening to this that can say, I can fix it. Good on you. Come on. Come forward and say, I can fix it.
Prove you're not a coward.
Yeah.
Below this YouTube video, my Facebook, your Facebook, my Skype contact. Prove you're not a coward. Because if you won't speak up, you can't be heard.
Come and tell us your truth.
You might as well be invisible. And if you don't put your name up, nobody will ever know that you're real. Don't get fooled with the boys and girls who say, walk away from this system and we'll beat it. It won't happen. It doesn't go backwards. Get involved.
Yeah.
It rolls forwards whether you like it or not.
Get on the right
This
track.
system, if you ain't producing and paying in, it wants rid of you. And the Alternative Truth Movement are doing a fantastic job of getting you out of their hair.
Yeah.
Eventually, they might say, here's an island, off you go, you guys and girls. Manage.
Yeah.
And you know what? All those people who yapped the loudest, let's say there was 15, 20,000 people who said, I want to go to the island. And when the day came to get on the boat, I'll bet you less than 5,000 actually get on it. We're not fooled by how this works, and we're not fooled by what people say, because what comes out of their mouths is usually the complete opposite of what they actually do. And if people say you can live without money, you find me someone who's doing it, and I'll believe you.
Yep.
For another Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's good night from me.
And good night from me.
And if you listen to how we're going to finish the show, I've used it before. We're not living in dream world.
We're not.
Just ask Mr. Brian Gerrish. I know why.
Okay, well, thanks for that. It's a pretty easy question to answer, really. If I go back, I did 21 years in the military. I now know that some of the things I believed in then, I was misguided, but I originally joined the military because I believed that I had a country and it was worth fighting for, and I did believe at the time that I was helping to defend my country. And then when I left the service and I started to discover what was really going on, the fraud and the corruption in Plymouth, and I tried to do something about it, and the next thing I got people threatening me and sending me death threats and all sorts of crap, I sat down with a couple of guys and we actually had a discussion about it. And we said, what are we going to do? Are we going to do something or are we going to do nothing? And I can tell you that there was 8 guys around the table and we said, we're going to do something. And from that day onwards, I started to do something. I didn't really expect it to go in quite the direction it has, but I will tell you that everything that I have learned tells me if we don't fight, not only will there be nothing left in this country, but if you've got children and grandchildren, they are going to be wiped off the face of the earth. The people we're up against are of exactly the same mentality that got going in Stalinist Russia and in Nazi Germany, and they are going to murder our children, certainly, if they achieve the regime they want. And you've got the choice. You can do nothing. You might survive depending on your age, but they're going to have your children. And I decided, and I stick to my guns, I am going to fight, because otherwise my children have absolutely no future. And this is something else which, in the beginning, I did a couple of talks, and somebody in the audience sort of said to me, what do these people want? And I said, what they want is to kill you. And you could hear a few people in the audience sucking their teeth. And somebody said to me afterwards, I think you were a bit over the top there, Brian, I don't think you should have really said that. To which I said, well, what were the people saying as they were being led off to the concentration camps? These people are taking people to war, they're engineering wars. We've got British politicians, Miliband, involved in the taking and torturing of people. If we do nothing, we might survive by living in a hole in the ground. Our children, they are going to dispatch them. And that's why I'm fighting. When you get in that sort of mentality and you see this thing for what it is, you know, do I fear for my safety? No, I don't, because I've just decided that basically, you know, not fighting is not an option. Do I try and fight clever? Absolutely, because you can go and do things which are bloody stupid, and you're going to find that you're going to be cornered. But, you know, people who are still sending round email circuits as though they can sit in their armchair and have a little whinge, the people in government are working at the moment on how to murder us. When you know, I'm sorry, this sounds a little bit big-headed, but when you know what I know about what they're really doing to the children, you know, you just say, we've got to do something to stop this. I've had relations dying in very mysterious circumstances in hospitals where the hospital staff have then lied and covered up. And I've had tens of people calling me from other parts of the country telling me the same story. We're getting 5, 6, 7, 8 calls a week from mums off their heads because their children have been taken, and those children are being abused or psychologically tortured. It's an absolute cesspit, and we have got to do something about it. But it's no good people running around with bloody baseball bats. We've got to really start going for the few people in the positions of power who are dealing with this. But no, I absolutely don't wake up wondering why I do it. I know why I'm doing it. The times I get frustrated is when I think to myself, we haven't got all the assets or all the people to do what we need to do. If all of the activists out there, whatever parties they've been involved or organisations, if everybody would do something effective, we would be really starting to get to grips with this thing. And there is no other option. That's all I can say, really.
Another Tuesday, another dusting. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We'll be back next week unless something happens. And then the week after we're having a week off.
Are we really?
Well, we're just doing it. Shop refit.
Yes. Forgot about that.
Although you never know.
Really did turn up that Monday morning.
This costs us nothing except our time, and we do it because we enjoy doing it. Do we bring you bad news? I hope you don't think we do. We don't try and bring you bad news.
No.
We try and bring you the news. The news of what's really happening. How it works. And why we can never win. Till next time, bye-bye.
Good night.